What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about these Starfield rumors that are walking back other Starfield rumors. So look, this is probably the most interesting of the entire thing. We did sense, and we did talk about this even in a video a few days ago, right? Around midweek, we started to have this kind of breakdown, with these Xbox rumors, where it was seemingly like they were jumping the gun. And every game, Xbox is destroying Xbox consoles and jumping over, being third party, all that jazz. And maybe some of it was a little over exaggerated. So, we made that video. We talked about it. I have a few more things to say. We'll say in this video. And then today, kind of a bombshell. We had one insider in particular, and then now kind of everything is falling apart, beyond that. Nate the Hate, who is somebody that talked about Starfield. But the funny thing is, he's not actually the originator. I believe it was the Xbox Era podcast is what started the rumor on Starfield. And he corroborated. He added on to it. He jumped in. And so he had said, Starfield was a lock. And that's why I say this is a rumor of a rumor. I think that's actually very funny, right? I did see people saying there's articles or, links to articles on Twitter saying Starfield, no longer coming to PS5, it's claimed. And it's like, well, it was never said it was coming to PS5. So what you should really say is the rumored Starfield PS5 port is not happening. Rumor, parentheses, right? It's a disaster, as I talked about. And honestly, it is kind of funny to see it break apart in real time because, we've talked about the different, situations and the different ways of looking at it. Look, does it affect my life all that much? There are things to talk about, sure. It is interesting, and Xbox being like a third party versus a first party thing like that would be something in this digital age where everybody's got an opinion, on social media. It would absolutely be something worth talking about and worth discussing. But does it change how I do things? No, not really. I'm still going to get their games, and it doesn't change my excitement for Hellblade or for Elder Scrolls 6 or State of Decay 3 or, these games. It doesn't change anything. It's just an interesting thing. But some people take it larger than life, right? And that's what we've talked so much about really over this last week. People selling their Xboxes. There's been pictures of people going to GameStop and trading in their Xbox console. These really self-titled, influencers or whatever they want to call themselves, Xbox fans. They hear rumors and they sell their Xbox. That's, I guess, how little care they have for the actual. I don't know. It's all fake, right? I think a lot of this stuff is actually fake. But Starfield specifically, it is crazy because it was one of the most kind of locked in things, right? In terms of confidence, Sea of Thieves and Hi-Fi Rush, those seem to be, in fact, Hi-Fi Rush has already been spotted. So that's absolutely happening. Sea of Thieves makes a lot of sense, and Sea of Thieves was included, kind of originally in those Hi-Fi Rush rumors. But after that, Starfield really was the other big one. Maybe Indiana Jones. There was the thing, I don't remember if it was Variety or Forbes or whatever, but there was Indie where that game was coming and was going to come out on Xbox first and then PlayStation a few months later, and it was going to come on Xbox in December, right? December release date. So now the report is that it was all made up, at least the Starfield one, completely made up. It's not happening. Although, even after he said that, there's still some reports that it might happen. So, like I said in the last video, it is a disaster, and I do like to see these things kind of break apart. Not because, I don't look, I cover rumors all the time, so it's not like I don't like them. It's not like I don't like leaks or things. I am fully willing to talk about it, but I really do think it depends on how much you care. My care doesn't really go beyond making videos. And while some might think that's my entire thing or my entire life, it's not. Once I leave and if I'm playing a game on my own or, God forbid, doing something other than gaming, am I thinking about that Xbox rumor? No. So it does depend on how serious, I guess, you are on this entire thing. And again, these people selling their own consoles, clearly they take it a little bit more seriously than I take these rumors, right? But it is something that I think we need to hear from them. I mean, at this point, it's gotten so bad that nobody knows what's what. We don't know anything that's happening. And then, like I said with these insiders that I really don't understand what they're doing. They're hyping people up, and then they're backtracking, and they're not really apologizing. Actually, Nate the Hate did. He said, I'll take the loss, I'll take the L, right? I made a mistake there, okay? He at least will do it. There's a lot of other insiders that have quite literally just kind of ignored what they've said, they themselves. They ignored what they said, and they're just kind of moving on and saying, well, if Starfield doesn't happen, a lot of this stuff is probably not going to happen. A lot of this stuff was probably fake. Okay, well, but you talked about it. And I mean, I guess you're not the like technically, they're not the insider, right? There is an insider. They talk to these people and then they talk to us. But, it is a little bit of their responsibility to try to make sure that what they're being told is accurate. And it really did sound like beyond Hi-Fi Rush and beyond Sea of Thieves, everything was guessing. In fact, you're hearing now that all of these Xbox employees, number one, they don't even know what's going on, right? Like Microsoft has the plan, not them. There's rumors that Phil Spencer has had like an in-house kind of conversation with everybody, but that's a rumor. And ultimately, like again, the more recent things we've heard is the people that were telling the Jeff Grubbs and the Jez Cordons and all these people, the people that told them, they themselves had no idea. They were guessing. They had very little or limited information. And they're just guessing on the outcome because the reports are Xbox and Microsoft didn't even know the outcome, right? Like that's the newest, the updated rumor is that Sea of Thieves and Hi-Fi Rush, and that a lot of these other games, like maybe it still happens, right? Maybe Starfield does come to PlayStation, but a lot of these are kind of like up in the air. They're being considered, but they're not for sure. Now, I will say another thing to kind of add to like the new pile of all of this. The one thing I would actually put stock on, right? Because these rumors, I mean, they're interesting. You can talk about these rumors, but as we've learned, like you can't hold yourself too much to them because a lot of them just kind of break down. One thing you can hold yourself to is job position. So one thing we have seen over the past few days has been jobs, right? There's things for 343, right, for the next Halo game. And in the job description, it talks about multiple consoles. So like that one, does PlayStation happen? It is very possible, if not likely, because in a job that they are hiring for, they want somebody to be able to do that, right? So that was one. I think there was like one other, or maybe it was like an Xbox job kind of at large, and it talked about almost collaborations with the different systems or the different companies, so PlayStation, Nintendo. So those I actually would put a lot more stock in, and that's why, is it just going to be Hi-Fi and Sea of Thieves? No. Maybe to start, but actually that's not even all that likely either. I think there'll be more than just those two. But then long term, does this stuff eventually happen? Possibly, probably, depends on what you want to say. But as for all of these rumors, again, like a lot of them have just been jokes. And, again, is it a good reminder to not take it too seriously? Yes. I'm not a big fan of the whole, like, well, don't cover it thing. And maybe I'm not a big fan because, like, I selfishly do it, or I don't want to, like, bash myself. But no, I mean, again, in all honesty, I really don't think the reporting on it is all that big of an issue. It's how you take it. I mean, that's kind of just one of my kind of mottos is, like you have the responsibility just on yourself. Like you do what you want with the info. So some people will hear the rumor of Halo and Starfield on PlayStation and they will sell their Xbox before it's even confirmed. That's some people. Other people, maybe like me, will not really care. They'll make a video, talk about it. It can be a fun discussion. And I won't sell my Xbox. I'm not going to like overly panic. I'm going to wait to see what happens. I'm interested to see how this all plays out. Different ways of handling it. So is it a reminder? I think it could be a reminder of like who to trust. Like some of these people I do think they've definitely lost a little bit of respect from me, especially those that got people excited, reported it kind of as facts. And even if they say, well, it was kind of like a conversation, like we didn't know for sure. Well, the way you report it, like you got to be careful how you're reporting it. So maybe you heard it as like a maybe, but if you reported it more as like a solid thing, well, that's on you. So a lot of these people that did this and then they don't backtrack and they don't take it back and they kind of just say, well, things are going to happen and people are going to be a little kind of bewildered by the choices they make based off what they were hearing. Well, you're the ones who said it in the first place. So I do think the reporting people have lost a little bit of respect and just like, I don't know, their like level of leakingness. But beyond that, I mean, we just still have to wait, right? Like next week, oh my God, I did see this on Twitter. It better be Monday. We don't know. They said, they're going to talk about it next week. It could be next Friday for all we know. But I really, you should just start it because you are watching the ecosystem burn. Like the Xbox ecosystem is on fire. Now, is that like the worst thing long term? Maybe not necessarily. Although you don't want people, influencers, let's call them, you don't want them selling their Xboxes and posting it on social media, right? You don't really want that to happen. So, ideally, you don't want that to last any longer than it needs to. So, like, if you could do it on Monday versus Thursday, that'd be nice. I am aware that, like, these kind of, whatever they're going to do, whether it's a video or a live stream or whatever, takes a lot of work. could take weeks, if not months, to put something like that together, and they're doing it in 1 week. 1 week. They're putting together something that I think they wanted to take their time on, and people, for really, I guess the reporters, forced their hands. So that's not ideal, but it doesn't really matter the quality of how they present it. It could be like a 480p, video at this point. Just have Phil up there and just talk about it. What's the future for Xbox? What games are coming? What games aren't coming? Be specific. Give examples. Do not give generalities. Like, now is not the time for that. You got to be specific, and you got to do it as quickly. I know, again, it's a rush, and you don't want to rush, and you're kind of being forced into rushing, but it's the hand you're dealt, and you just have to kind of deal with it, right? So let me know what you guys think. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel. We'll be covering whatever happens. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all on the next one.